We are delighted to have you here. Let me give you a short introduction who will be our speaker today, who is our speaker today. So Dr. Miftahul Islam Barbaruah is a veteran and a trained development facilitator. Following his graduation in veterinary science and animal husbandry from Assam Agriculture University, he has attended postgraduate and executive programs at prestigious schools like the Tezpur University, Assam Institute of Management, Asian Institute of Management, Manila, Philippines, and Masters in Development Management at Indian Institute of Management, Kolkata. He also has attended quite a many short-term courses, including the World Organization for Animal Health, OIE, the World Bank Group, and the European Commission for the Control of Foot and Mouth Disease. So the person that we are going to talk today, not only is a practitioner, but he comes with a huge experience, and we are definitely going to get benefit of it. As many of you know, Anajori is a collaborative platform where we invite people from different walk of life who have done tremendous, credible, authentic work in their field to come and inspire the youth of India. The basic objective of Anajori platform is to connect the dots. How do you bring people on one single platform who have been working in silos? And as one of the prominent animal welfare is one of our prominent programs through which we want to bring awareness, want people to take action in the field. So Dr. Miftahul Barbaruah, the floor is yours. What we would like to do and request you to do is to take us through your journey of your profession, of your passions, of your perseverance, and enlighten us that what you do, what challenges that you faced, and how the youth of Assam and Northeast can really get inspired on that. So the floor is yours. Welcome to the Anajori platform. Thank you, audience.
Thank you, Sanjay, for a nice introduction. I just added, I'm basically a veterinarian, not an animal welfare activist or worker, but I have domain expertise in different areas, as you say, animal welfare, animal disease control, clinical areas. But I have my most specialization is in the area of management. Particularly, I'm trying to bring in management thoughts to veterinary profession as such. You know, all the areas that veterinarians work. A veterinarian is actually also a manager when it comes to his activities. Now, as you have said that I should talk about my journey, particularly targeting to your audiences, young audiences who would like to explore how this person called Miftahul Barbaruah have, crossed his struggle. His life is full of struggle also.
Absolutely.
I did my normal schooling in a vernacular medium, and then I was an average student, not that brilliant, and somehow I didn't have any liking or any sort of career idea as to where I should go during schooling days. This happens to many of our youths. Mm-hmm. And then my brother, he supported that you should join science stream. So I decided to join a science college for my 11th, 12th. And then when I passed science examination, again, I had a problem of, I didn't have an idea as to what to do. This career dilemma was there. And then I appeared both engineering and medical entrance, and finally could not, got selected for this courses. Then again, it's my family and some of my friends, they say that I should join veterinary science. So I joined veterinary science at Khanapara, Assam Agriculture University, and that's a long period of my career. It's 5 years I spent there. I could learn the language, particularly the professional language, clinical science. But at the same time, I was always trying to look for doing something different than normal treating animals. Then when I graduated, I decided that I should start my own clinic. Let's see, test my skills. When I started my clinical practice, I was focusing on large animal practice, mostly cattle, goat, etc. Then very soon, I think within 6 to 7 months, I started realizing that you know I'm not doing justice. Particularly, I'm unable to save animals who are actually the farmers. They started reporting. They actually report cases when the animals are dying. At the time, treatment is very difficult, and you don't have the satisfaction of curing because most of the cases are very complex, and I see that the poor farmers, they have to pay a lot to treat their animals. That was something which then I started thinking that I should do something. Why can't we prevent diseases? Why can't we do some work for prevention of diseases and to protect the livelihood of farmers? That resulted into me thinking into going into more of a. At the time, I had two options before me: to do masters in preventive medicine, or to do something on the development side, the management side, particularly. Then I decided there was no such option, so I appeared for MBA entrance at Miftahul University, and fortunately, I got selected for that. That was a big story again, because I was the probably first veterinarian to go for management courses, and that too in Miftahul University. So I had tough time explaining why I wanted to do MBA. Then it was good that I could explain regarding, because before I appeared for the MBA entrance, I was doing my internship at the state zoo, and I was looking into the problems of the state zoo. So then I prepared a report on what needs to be done in state zoo, and that was the part which I discussed during my interview in with MBA Miftahul University interview. Then I started. I did actually seriously attended all the classes in MBA, and then I had an opportunity to do my internship at Venkateshwara Hatcheries, which is the biggest poultry company in India. I spent around 3 months in Andhra Pradesh, visiting areas like Nalgonda. These are very hot places. I have been to a number of farms, talking to the. My paper was on broiler chicken marketing, so I learned a lot during that phase. Then, when I got an offer from Venkateshwara Hatcheries to join their team in a very good position. But somehow again, I thought that I should be, I'm not made for this kind of job. Then I thought that I should start an entrepreneurial journey. It was in the year 2000, almost 1999, 2000. At the time, the dot-com boom was there. So somehow it came to my mind that I should do something to reach larger people in terms of veterinary service. So I started an organization called Vet Helpline India. It's now a 20-year-old company. I started in 1999, and in 2000 it was registered as a private limited company. So then the next almost 5 years was a struggle period. Struggling in Mumbai to establish my company. I have only 18,000 rupees in my hand, which I actually sold my bike at the time, and I was against my family. They were expecting me to join a job, but then I decided to go to Mumbai, and my sister was actually there, so she supported me. I stayed in her house only. So struggled a lot at the time. Actually, initially because of the .com and other structure, I got an award also, national award for IT application in veterinary science. But money was not coming. The revenue model was somehow, it was not working. I keep on changing. Then one fine day, I thought that, no, it's too much. I can't handle it. Then I decided to apply for jobs. At the time, National Innovation Foundation, Government of India, they advertised for a job. And I applied. They wanted me to write an essay. So I wrote an essay. So that was very nice according to them. And then they selected me. And I was appointed at IIT Guwahati to set up the National Innovation Foundation's office in Guwahati. I came back to Guwahati from Mumbai. So at that time, actually, I was in a mixed kind of feeling that I don't know what I'm trying to do. But the fact that I got a job, everyone in the family was very happy. And they wanted me to marry immediately. And then that resulted into I decided to marry go for a married life. And then this was almost 8 months in this job. Then somehow I realized that I should not continue my work with IIT Guwahati. And then I thought of resigning. That was the second biggest decision. And everyone in the family was again, was saying that I don't know. But my parents were very much supportive in the sense that they said that whatever I was doing, in fact, my father-in-law at the time, he was, it's very difficult for him because he was, I wedded his daughter only a few months ago, and then I'm leaving a job. And at the time, I got support from an organization called American Soybean Association. One of my friends was there, and he offered me a 4-day contract in a month. They were paying me 4,000 at the time per day. So that was sufficient for me for the month, to at least pass through. So for 4 months, 4 to 6 months, I was there in their contract, and I was traveling throughout the northeastern region. And that was the biggest part of my career in the sense I started learning about the region as such, the northeastern region as such.
So the learning curve.
More long now. Is it okay?
Yeah. I'm saying that was the learning curve that you got.
Yeah, that is the learning. Particularly, actually one needs to travel a lot to understand, the situation, meet people to really know what is happening in the ground. So that helped me for almost 4 to 5 months, and then again contract was extended for another 1 year. So next 2 years I was traveling, and at the same time I could set up an organization called Farmer along with my friend Dr. Manjul Islam to set up what we call Farmer was an acronym, Fellowship for Agri-Resource Management and Entrepreneurship Research. It's a non-government organization. And in 2006, after a struggle of initial 5 years, 2000 to 2006, I was struggling a lot. 2006, I established this this NGO. NGO I established in 2003. 2006, we got the first project, which was again financed by an UN agency, United Nations Conference for Trade and Development. That was actually, I was working like anything for that project because I have to establish myself as a, person who can be trusted, a person who is serious about his job. And my team was very good at the time. And in fact, we implemented one after 3-4 projects we implemented, which was funded by UN agencies, including FAO, Food and Agriculture Organization. And slowly the NGO actually was flourishing. I was flourishing in the sense, we were getting projects. But what happened, then I realized that our governance is very weak, the NGO governance, in the sense that I could not change the board of directors. Repeatedly, I was trying, I was advisor to that NGO because my company was running on the sideline. So Company revenue was also not that much, but we are doing a little bit of consultancy, small consultancies only. But then I realized that very difficult to run a non-government organization. It's actually again a learning point for me in the sense that you have to be very good in your governance because after all you are dealing with the money, public money, and that makes you accountable for whatever work being given to you. And that has resulted in 2013 because of many issues. I don't want to make it long. Uh, we decided to stop the NGO. Again, a very good NGO with a very good trajectory had to be stopped only because that I thought that we are not doing the kind of as far as governance of the organization is concerned. So we did not renew our NGO license in 2013, probably during that period. And by that time, I was actually in touch with a lot of UN agencies and working in different projects. They also realized that about my decisions. And finally, we started getting all projects in the name of my company, that Helpline India Private Limited. So that's the second journey. The company was actually focusing more on development projects. So in 2010, almost 2010 12, I decided to go for my second master's degree in development management. This is very important here. You see, when I was I did my master's in business administration earlier with marketing specialization. I was doing things nicely, but at the same time, I started realizing that I need to upgrade my skills. That's a very important part of one's career. When you realize, you should always keep on asking yourself whether you have the requisite skills or not. So I realized that I need to learn, and I went to Manila for my master's in development management. And it was again a big decision because I had to take a loan because I didn't get any sponsorship because I am basically running a private company. They give sponsorships to people who are in NGO sector or those who are doing development work. But the fact that I was with a private limited company, I got disqualified for any kind of scholarship assistance. So I need to take apply for loan. This is the first decision I decided. At that time, the pressure of repaying the loan was very high. And went to Philippines again. That's a new world altogether for me. I started interacting with people from various cultural, different cultures. But we have people from 25 countries in the class. Okay, so my request to all young is that always look for such options of, to be in a company of people from different countries. That really helps. Actually. I started learning from my friends. I become more sensitive to the culturally sensitive in the sense that you need to be with you need to understand different cultures, different religions. Then at the same time, discipline way of handling things. I learned a lot of skills. My respective professors there. In one point of time, I was even crying when I could not complete my the thesis, master's degree thesis. I was struggling, but that was a learning point. Actually, my guide was, he was giving me, repeatedly correcting my thesis and other things. So I improved my language skills. I improved my presentation skills in that way. So always I started taking this as a positive. Today I realized that what I did in Philippines was actually helped me a lot to improve my communication skills. As I told, I came from a vernacular medium, and I was not that fluent in expressing my feelings in other than mother tongue. So then, once I completed my master's in development management, I came back and I started. Then it was actually the beginning of my getting projects. So that's something. At that time, I went for some small executive program with Indian Institute of Management. Also, it was a managerial excellence program, and then I learned three big mantras which actually shaped my career. The first mantra was excellence for the sake of excellence. Uh, if you look into a musician or a person uh, who prepares what do you call who makes artifact, uh, they are excellent because for the sake of excellence. Nobody is asking them to sing better or nobody is. It's actually the interest comes from within. So that was something which I was very was quite inculcated in my day-to-day life, that I should do whatever I do. It should be excellent. In the sense, excellence for the sake of excellence. Then the second part was that I learned about the data wisdom chain, which is again a very important learning for me. Uh, as you know, data, when you arrange in a proper way, it becomes information. With information, when your experience is added, it becomes knowledge. And with knowledge, if you have the vision, the wisdom grows. Okay. Uh, I always keep on explaining to young friends that this is very important because uh, after that, I learned that mantra. I don't remember where I actually got this. Probably in one of the MDM classes in Philippines. Uh, the moment I come across any data, I start thinking about, is it the information or for me? For example, just give an example which I applied in my recent projects. Uh, Somebody was talking about the population of cattle, population of buffalo in Assam. So the moment I started asking, what is the population today and what is the population 2000 in 90s, whether there is increase or decrease of population. So that becomes a information. The population of buffalo is increasing or decreasing. Then with that, when we add the experience of experts who are in the buffalo breeding sector, they will say that population of buffalo is decreasing because of n number of issues, like safety issues in the forest areas. People are not going into footies. They would not like, the next generation was not willing to take up the footies and other things. So that becomes knowledge. And then I wanted to do something on this, reducing number of buffaloes. So then I started looking for opportunities to join various buffalo related associations. And finally, I was trying to do some activity in the ground to popularize cookie farming. So that's kind of, it was there since very early. I'm saying during my master's qualification itself, I learned the data wisdom chain, and I would like everybody to, you can get it in Google. If you just write data wisdom chain, that will give you a very good understanding of the issue of the particular mantra. Then one another mantra of my career was the famous Buddhang Saranam Gacchami, Dharmam Saranam Gacchami, Sangham Saranam Gacchami. So Buddha here is a knowledge. So I pray for knowledge. Actually, every day was I was praying for knowledge only. Yeah, I'm not talking Buddha in the sense of Buddha. Buddha is a knowledge. Dharmam Saranam Gacchami. Dharma is a disciplined way of life. So I started I try to start live a disciplined life, and then come the Sangham Saranam Gacchami, to be in good company and always be with friends who are good to you and you can learn from. Because for whole life I was learning from my friends, I was learning from my people I'm interacting with, because every person is unique, and you can learn a lot from people. And so that was a brief journey, and my company was actually, the initial struggle period from 2006 onwards. I started earning revenues, and now it's a purely a consultancy-based organization. So we keep on projects which we sincerely do and implement. These are all development projects. And the latest learning I had is I got selected for, our company got selected for to prepare the vision document, vision and roadmap of animal husbandry and veterinary department, my state. It was I was not expecting to get selected for this, because there are a lot of competition in that. There were consultants from New Delhi. There are consultancy organizations like International Livestock Research Institute who are also applying for that. But because of the support of some of the people who actually, who were very well, my well-wishers, I was selected for that particular assignment. And then 2000, it was very recent, 2017-18. My team, I had a very nice team, and we did. I was quite satisfying work to visit across the state, meet n number of farmers, not only farmers, traders, other stakeholders, people who did studies earlier, the College of Veterinary Science professors. So we did a little bit, engagement with outsiders also, people who are veterinarians, as well as other Assamese people who stayed outside, were working in other parts of the world. All of them provided suggestions, and then finally we prepared the vision and roadmap of the department. So that actually, this is the first such exercise in India that looked into two aspects. One is the external analysis of the sector, the livestock sector, and the internal analysis of the department, the strength of the department, so that you have both external and internal analysis to prepare your strategy and vision of the department. So that is something I will stop here, because I think I am talking for last 25 minutes. That is that's the kind of, you said you will be giving me around 20-25 minutes to talk on the journey. I hope I am doing justice while talking, because I'm just trying to keep in mind that my audiences here would like to know, would like to learn from my journey. I hope I'm doing justice to this. Yes, Dr. Chandra.
Thank you so much. Let me start with asking a very, very basic questions. Some of our audiences are young, very passionate. There seems to be a lack of clarity on what animal husbandry means, livestock means, animal welfare means. So if you can just explain to the very ordinary people like us that what these different things mean to people, because when people say animal husbandry, probably they think of everything that deals with animals. What are the different streams within the animal husbandry that you deal with, so that will bring some clarity to us?
Okay, the general understanding is that a veterinarian works with animals. Maybe we call it companion animals, work animals, like the work animals, and then wild animals, and finally the more majority part is the livestock, those producing livestock-based food. So the domain of veterinarian is actually, it starts with human health. We actually work for human health, not just for animal. I want to like to clarify on this. Uh, when I say human health, uh, from the production perspective, we want to give better nutrition to human beings. Second thing is that we also want to protect uh, humans from diseases which can be transmitted from animals to humans and humans to animals. Nowadays, the veterinarians are working in, very closely with medical professionals, with environmental experts, uh, what we call as One Health. Nowadays, actually, it is health is one health, both health, human health, animal health, and the environmental health. Because all the diseases that you see are actually the intersection of these professions. So then usually when you say vet, you feel like vet only treats a dog or cat. So that's a companion animal sector. Again, companion animal sector is a very big sector as such, because the doctors who treat your companions, uh, they are actually not just treating your animals, they are also treating your family members. Dogs, cats, they give you the mental peace. There are a number of psychological things nowadays. Uh, Companion animal is a big industry altogether in India and elsewhere in the world. Then second comes is your the livestock sector, where you have to protect the health of animals like cattle, buffalo, goat, sheep, pigs. Okay, so that they becomes protected, they remain productive, and they give good quality uh, milk, meat, and other products for use of the mankind. I'm marking it good quality in the sense that the job of the veterinarian is food safety also, okay, to ensure food safety at the production point, so that you get the good quality food to eat. Uh, then comes you also work with work animals. Uh, you all know that we have, I think you have seen the horses being used for pulling carts. Okay. There are large number of horses and other mules, like they are working in brick lanes. Uh, so this is another area altogether. There are some veterinarians who are have expertise in work animal handling. So that is one thing. Again, companion animals is not just dog and cats. You have horses. Equine industry is again a very big industry. You know about the equine sports. Equine sports, veterinarian plays a very good role there in terms of health and breeding of horses. Okay. Then in livestock sector, it is not just health. Veterinarian also looks into the nutrition, the breeding part of livestock. Then again, the big area is the wild animal health. Wildlife health is another area where veterinarians plays a big role. I'm trying to give you a overview of the areas where veterinarians are working. Then I start talking about companion work, wildlife. Then there are a number of areas where veterinarians are doing research with multidisciplinary teams. It may be starting research in microbes, starting from microbes to nanotechnologies, and bigger domains are there. People are working in different areas. Then one area which I'm basically focusing on is on development angle, particularly livelihood improvement of people. Then capacity building for providing services. And one of the biggest difference you would see that usually people think that veterinarians only treat animals. But our most important job is to prevent diseases. Actually, we need to study about the epidemiology of diseases, how to prevent outbreaks, and if outbreak takes place, how to manage these outbreaks. So again, that's a different kind of work. In fact, in this regard, I would tell you that you must be knowing in Assam, we recently had an outbreak of African swine fever where many animals died. We have outbreak of lumpy skin disease where animals were affected. But again, this gave me a great opportunity to help my state, my department, animal husbandry and veterinary department, so as to build capacity for preventing disease outbreaks. Okay? We really had a tough time in managing outbreaks. We learned a lot from managing the outbreak of African swine fever. So these are the different areas. So my request, and then particular area I guess here is that animal welfare. Animal welfare actually encompasses all aspects. Starting to start with companion animals. Many people understand that animal welfare means just welfare of dogs. It is not like that. Animal welfare means welfare of production animals, work animals, companion animals, as well as wild animals in the sense give them wild animals. You have to give them the kind of environment they need. A few days ago, I just give an example somewhere in near page 4. Some activists, they are very actually what do you call animal welfare. They were very good at anything. They were trying to feed monkeys. You must be seeing that pictures are coming on in social media. They were feeding monkeys. Now there also, animal welfare is important because if you feed monkeys with your kind of food, you are disturbing their,
natural ability.
So there
Yeah.
again, animal welfare plays a the drugs are being made by manufacturers, production of drugs, production of vaccines. In this kind of laboratory work, a lot of laboratory animals are used. Okay. The animal welfare comes in the context of laboratory animal welfare also. There are different laws are there how to handle these laboratory animals. So again, there is a difference between animal welfare and animal rights. Okay, so I will not go into this. So different areas are there, but animal welfare as such is the role to play because without animal welfare, there is not to give you safe food. If you are trying to produce safe food, you must practice animal welfare. Number one thing. Second thing, if you want to address the market, if you are producing animals without any animal welfare guideline, you're not going to get the consumers are not happy with you, so they're not supposed to buy your products. Nowadays things are changing. Entrepreneurs are now thinking of implementing animal welfare guidelines in such a way so that they can convince consumers that products are not only safe but also made with proper animal welfare standards. So hope I address this question properly. And I've tried to give you the wider picture of veterinary profession. I hope I've touched everything. But there are many other aspects. Like I said, that veterinarians are now working on a multidisciplinary team. They are contributing in research areas, discovery, vaccine production. So there are the bigger areas where and feed production, particularly animal nutrition. A lot of people are working on animal nutrition. The issues related to scarcity of feed resources. climate resilient agriculture, particularly the problem of climate changes on aspects.
There is a very specific question on that, and I'll come back to that question. Uh, Before I go to the questions of the audience that they have posted, let me ask you a more personal question on your journey. Your professional journey seems to be a very upheaval one, a very uneven one. Normally, people will not take the kind of decisions that you have taken, from trying to get into a secured, cushy job in a government, say, for example, IIT Guwahati and IIT Bombay, to deciding, no, you want to go to a private sector and then traveling all the way from a Venkateswara to everywhere and opening your own firm. And in a society like ours in Assam, where entrepreneurship is not well appreciated, and let me jokingly bring in the fact that you got married and your father-in-law was not happy because you had just got into IIT Guwahati, got married with a girl, and then decided, no, I don't want to do this job. How did you deal with this perception where people customarily, traditionally think that a safe job is a government job and a very unsafe job is being an entrepreneur, being in the private sector? How did you deal with that, and what message you have for us?
In fact, you have to learn the skill of preparing your family, in the sense they know me, I'm a serious person right from the beginning in terms of my education, my decisions to various activities. Family support is the biggest thing. I must say that I was fortunate enough to get the support. Many of the entrepreneurs may not be having access to this kind of support. But then you have to engage with your family members. You have to talk to them, not to be angry. Just explain them why you want to do this. And probably sometimes I also feel that the main thing is how to take the risk of leaving a secure job or doing something very uncertain. So when I started my career, I did a lot of planning. I was trying to look for a different revenue model to work on. I struggled, but I continued doing that one. And there are moments when as I told you, one fine day I decided to drop my entrepreneurial journey and then decided to join IIT Guwahati. So there are some decisions that you are forced to take. But then again, it's all about confidence, and you have to develop that confidence. A close friendship is very important, actually. Friendship with family members, receiving their guidance whenever it is required. That helped me a lot. But again, for the entrepreneurs who are struggling with this, you have to prepare yourself. It's a different kind of life altogether. Entrepreneurial life is a different kind of life altogether. You can dream actually, to do many things, and that's something satisfying. Money is not the only thing for an entrepreneur. Actually, those who want to become entrepreneur, they should also inculcate the fact that your life wants you want a life satisfied. Today, when I look back and I see each of my research reports, each of my projects where I have contributed, it gives me satisfaction in the sense that I have done something. And I'm a very result-oriented person. I started this Assam Roadmap project in 2017-18, and still today, I'm following every activities in the department just to understand whether I have made any impact or not. Okay.
Wow, that's tremendous.
I'm not. I cannot say that all the things happening is because of our project work. But at the same time, almost every month I prepare a small note as to what happened in the department and how that can be related to my project. Okay, so that's kind of result orientation is very important for an entrepreneur. If you are just, and then one fine thing I must tell you is that in one point of time when I started this NGO called Farmer Fellowship for Agri-Resource Management, I was actually, doing many things, and I was talking about agriculture. I was talking about sericulture. I was at the time consultant to Ministry for National Agricultural Development Program. I was moving around various places. Then I had a realization that, see, I'm basically a veterinarian. Okay, there are certain core competencies where I need to focus. You should not be too wide. You need to be a generalist. I'm basically a generalist, but at the same time, I realized that from 2012 onwards, I am now focusing more on my core domain areas because there are many things to be done within the sector itself. So that focus on core expertise and keep on always asking yourself as what is your core competence? What is your core competency? And then if needed, you can start talking to others to understand what your core competency is. Listing them up is very important. Sometimes what I do is I search Google core competency. Okay, what are the different skill sets? Suppose you get list of skills. Then you find out, okay, this is a skill I may be having. Let's focus, which is my area. So finding out the core competency and then trying to build your expertise around that is very important because then you can create a niche for your. Today, I must say that veterinary is a very big domain. Many experts are there, but I'm still struggling to create my own space, within that big domain, so that not many that helped me to build a team. I really appreciate other expertise, and then the team building, which is the core skill. Because you cannot implement big projects. It's not possible for one
without
person.
a good team.
One person cannot do anything. You have to have your team for that. And probably it's because of my team in various projects. It's not that only I learned, but we all learn together. And to the extent possible, I try to make a multidisciplinary team. I have people from communication background. I have people from social science background. So when you work in a multidisciplinary team, you start performing because you feel, you go out of your comfort zone. And that's something which helps. And this is good for the entrepreneurs also. You should be, that day I was listening to talk of Manoj Basumatari, our big president of Arts and Progressive Farmers Association. I learned a lot from this person. I really appreciate the effort of Anazari to talk to people and then try to understand their life journey. So there's nothing. Ultimately, it's destiny. Your destiny takes you to different places, different aspects. But only thing you have to focus is that, as I said, that excellence for the sake of excellence. So that is something which is very important. And always focusing on the wisdom. It's not just stopping oneself on knowledge. So if you stop yourself on knowledge, many people are still in the information stage. Very few people.
Absolutely.
So vision is missing actually. You may have hundreds of PhDs, but with PhD you should dream also. So that's great.
Yeah. So two very important words of wisdom, if I can say that. One, people who are struggling whether to have a job or go become an entrepreneur. And as you have seen Dr. Miftahul's journey, he clearly says that engage with your family, try to make them understand, explain your vision, and engage with them constantly. Probably they will understand why you want to do a certain things in a certain way. and not rely on assuming that they will understand everything on their own. So constantly engage with them. Secondly, and this is a comment also, your journey seems to be of a private entrepreneur who functions more like a social entrepreneur, but have also a development sector orientation. So we have got a combination of a private enterprise. We have got a combination of what we call ethical business towards the social enterprise, and then with a development sector orientations. And the third thing that I really found very interesting, that you have been constantly trying to upgrade your skills as recent as going to the Asian Institute in Manila and learning new things, being a veterinarian, doing an MBA is certainly an odd combination, but a beneficial one. So it's important that you engage with them. And the last thing that you said, which probably I and including all my friends over here will certainly love to learn, is build a team, work in a multidisciplinary team, because that brings you out of your comfort zone. You don't deal with only with experts, you deal with various different kind of people and learn many more things. I'll go to the questions that the audience have put in. And here is the first question, doctor. It says, animal husbandry department says on animal agriculture, since too much production of farm animals in intensive confinement is harmful for the farm animals, environment, and climate. So can Assam rely on backyard poultry business and help farmers and consumer eat clean and healthy food? That's the first question from the audience.
Yeah, thank you. May I know the name of the person who is putting this?
I guess this question has come from Nayanika.
Yes, Nayanika, you have rightly pointed out, the importance of sustainable farming. Many people see why we went into why the world went into the factory farming, particularly word being used there, is because of the hunger, the need for increased food production. Then today in Assam, what I feel is that yes, we need more production, but production has to be through a sustainable way. Backyard poultry, yes, this is very important area that we need to look into. But at the same time, we need to look into the biosecurity angle, so that should not lead to any health issues. In our project, in Assam Barbaruah project, we have actually drawn up a single most chapter on promotion of sustainable farming in Assam. We started talking about, you must be knowing the kuti, the buffalo kuti or cattle. Are you aware? It's the kind of production system you see in the char areas or riverine areas or interior of forest where animals are reared there in open ranging system. Most of the buffaloes are semi-domestic in nature. So that's a kind of a different farming system. We have not explored this kind of things. We are very rich in this kind. The buffalo that we have, the swarm buffaloes, they are very much rich in terms of their milk. Again, many people are being supporting their livelihood through this farming. Then, so what I would just briefly say is that we need a mixture of both commercial farming as well as backyard farming. There are ways to do it actually. And nowadays, even entrepreneurs are doing sustainable farming and then trying to create a brand for their products. Okay, these products are coming from organic farms, they're coming from sustainable farming system. These products are coming from farms where animal welfare principles are taken care of. Okay. So in that way, if you can create demand for such products, demand for products produced in sustainable way, that will have effect on the production system of the people. Unless and until market demands for this kind of issues, market is sensitive on these issues. If consumers are sensitive on animal welfare issues, if consumers are sensitive on sustainable farming, they will look for products which are coming from these farms. They will not go for products which are coming from intensive commercial units. Okay, so that will create market. That will create market, and Assam is a very good place for this. Today, I always say that today, if somebody collects the milk from Kutis, okay, and sells it as a near organic milk, okay, that's a kind of a model that we are looking. Can the milk from Kutis be taken to the urban areas as a organic, near organic milk? Similarly, we can think of raising Assam local goats, not doing any crossbreeding, pure Assam local goat, raised in a very sustainable manner, then have a kind of. So that's possible. That's a possible, but everything depends on how you design your marketing strategy. How because ultimately it is the consumer who decides. So I feel like we definitely need to create awareness, consumer awareness. More brands that are coming up in Assam have started focusing on creating brand on sustainable farming, brand on the basis of animal welfare principles that they are adopting in their farms. So these are happening, and so this is the things are going to change because you have recently seen the kind of disease that we encountered, COVID as such. Many people claim that it's the intensive farming which has resulted into these kind of things. So slowly we are looking into the farming systems that being prevalent all over the world. We are trying to correct the issue there. The World Animal Health Organization is actually issuing guidelines as to what other animal welfare guidelines as well as production guidelines, so that we really appreciate the animal the requirement of the animal world as such. These are very important. Thank you for your nice question. I hope I answered to your question.
Yes, certainly. Nayanik, I see you that you are there online. Would you like to ask your question, or should I go ahead and keep asking him the questions? Nayanik, can you hear me? You can unmute your.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Actually, I'm outside, but I'm thank you, doctor, for answering the question so well. Actually, I work for Humane Society International India. It's an animal protection organization, and I have been doing outreach program in schools, institutions, hotel industries about the importance of cage-free, free-range eggs. So the problem, what I have found in Assam, when I the outreach program, the harmful effect of animal agriculture, and as an option, how people can procure refined food, cage-free. Uh, we have a big list of the suppliers across India, but we don't have such list for Assam. So that is one of the. If I go to one shop to say local departmental store, particular name that hey, I need egg. Like in Assam, in Bangalore we have this Happy Hen, then Cake Free. So these are companies. So how can we, develop these suppliers, or how we can encourage our local farmers to start free range and free range cage free rather than starting the commercial poultry farming?
Yes, Nanika.
Thanks, Nayanika.
Get your thoughts. You have been already doing work on creating awareness. As you have said, happy hen, happy cow farms are coming up in Mumbai where animals are there in open grazing system. There being music's going on in this farm, just to create a happy environment within the. So it is possible that unless to adopt this kind of farming practices, so as to, but you have to create brand for your product and then get the market Now, the entrepreneurs in Assam are increasingly coming up with these ideas. Probably many entrepreneurs have contacted me as to what they can do. I always stop them creating a look for a niche market, because see, milk is available in Assam. Okay, so if you produce milk, what is the difference between your milk and the milk which is you get in Amul Taja or something like that? But that's creating the differentiation is very important. You can create differentiation by adopting animal welfare, good animal welfare practices. You can create a brand based on your feeding practices. So, but that everything depends on how you design your branding strategy, how you promote your products, and the kind of the consumer awareness that is required. So that part is a strong part that we need to handle in terms of in terms of asking people to shift from commercial, pure intensive commercial to sustainable farming. But at the same time, we should realize one point is that what we are talking about is also affordable food. We are not producing food only for rich people. We have to produce food for numerous those villagers who are struggling for good quality protein diets. Okay? We need protein diets for our children in villages. Okay? The poverty-stricken children. So how do you meet that demand? How do you meet that demand? For that reason, probably we also need to focus on commercial production, because there is a huge demand and supply gap. That's why I see feasibility in terms of establishing commercial operations, because that's to meet that the production requirement. So we need to keep in mind that protein, animal protein is a need for large number of people, poor people, and we have to keep prices in such a way that it becomes affordable for them. So that point I think you also appreciate.
Yeah, so doctor, so I would like, yeah. With it is very rightly pointed out, sir, because when we do the outreach program, we always keep in mind that we do not target the schools which provide midday food, because that is the only source of protein. The midday school, because but where we are convincing, or where we are trying to create awareness is to children where parents can afford food from, say, KFC, from McDonald's and all, and where they have the capacity to refine their food.
Yeah, very good. But that's
But
why
in
I'm
our
saying.
case, or when we, yeah,
In fact, in some point, if you ask me that should vegetarianism is good, I will say that if you can afford to be vegetarian, it's good. But you have to maintain your nutrition balance. The balanced nutrition is very important, and it may not be feasible for a poor farmer to become vegetarian and maintain the kind of balance, protein balance, which is required. So in that sense, it's again, two sides of the coin. But at the same time, both should go together. And then we should be very careful that without animal welfare, there is no safe food production. I say that your food production cannot be safe. You must be knowing that if the animal is, if you do not give the 5 freedoms of animals, and they become stressed, they suppress certain products, certain hormones in their product, which decreases the keeping quality of meat or milk and other things. There's a chance that the stressed animal will succumb to any disease, and that disease may come to the food products. Okay? And through food, it can go to the human. So ultimately, why are we farming? Why are we farming? Just to produce. It's not just to produce livestock products. We have to ensure that in next few years, we have to look into the safe food production, safe at the same time affordable. Okay. That look into the developed countries, they will see that they give very important, they're very focused on creating safe food at the same time, uh, you know,
Affordable.
affordable. It should be affordable, and for a developing countries, like country like us, we must look into that aspect. It's very important for us.
In any way, I must say that the journey towards sustainable food production or sustainable farming has not been an easy one, even for the developed countries. They have learned it through the last 3, 4 decades, and probably we'll have to go through the same cycle in creating that balance where we can provide nutritious food, whether it's animal or otherwise, by managing a balance between a niche market, which is the rich people, and also through which we can take care of the common people. I see Milin asking a question. Milin, your turn. Please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, Sanjay. My question is, nowadays I see often meat market everywhere. People selling chicken, you know, every 100 feet or so, and it really what do you call sad scenario. You can see chickens are out there in front of the chicken, they're killing chicken. I even saw goat. There's live goat, and on the top of that they had slaughtered other goat. And I know that they have some act, slaughterhouse act and all those things, and for which I think animals should not be killed in front of another animal. Um but I don't see all these rule follows. In fact, now go to Anuradha market, in the railway track itself, I see cut meat being sold. I do not know whether they're chicken meat or mutton meat or monkey meat or goat meat or dog meat. So what could you do? What could you do about this? And how, as a public, as a what do you call, informed public, what could you do? We don't want to see chicken, cutting in front of everywhere. And I feel bad for those vegetarians who have to go through all this, all this chicken shop, and it stinks. And 5 years ago, it was not like this. It happened last 6 years. And what could you do? Why could government not place a specific area where they can sell all this meat, not just in footbath, or footbath where we're supposed to take walk? I do not know whether it's under the husbandry department or not. I do not know where it comes across, but I want to put it across because we can work with the husbandry department, we can work with the GMC, but that need to be stopped. I don't know what to be done. And also it affect the animal, because I see there's chicken wallas over here. They cut those chicken and they throw all this intestine and the stuff on the road, and then there's a whole 17 after another. Now there's 17 dogs over there, and it increasing accidents and stuff like that. Many other problems are accumulated. So what could be done? How could you stop this?
Uh, Thank you, Malin, for raising this very important question. We call it a wet market. What you are referring to, every roadside you see people having small shops offering it. And you have also rightly pointed out it's there, but not implemented in schools. As the city develops, if you go to Delhi or Mumbai, I think now you will not see this kind of slaughter in main areas because the opportunity cost of lands are also going up. At the same time, the municipal corporations are so strong that they implement their rules. In Guwahati also, first of all, I will just clarify one thing is that the animal husbandry department in the state, actually, we are very still have a strong food safety enforcement power. It's actually with the health department, and we need to really collaborate with health department to come up with the proper plan for this kind of things happening. Recent years, the government of Assam department has tried to implement rules for slaughterhouses because there are slaughterhouses coming up near Guwahati, where all the, particularly for meat, both meat shops, they have to slaughter their animal in that particular designated slaughterhouse. And then after certification from the veterinarian there, they can only sell in the places. Uh, Rules are there. There are the people are trying to implement it, but there are. If you look into the entire food safety aspects, the entire Guwahati has only, I think I was told that only 6 officers, food safety officers, for entire Guwahati. Is it humanly possible for kind of any kind of enforcement of law? Second thing is that we do not have any proactive planning in terms of identifying the hotspots areas and then creating some sort of awareness, uh, very focused awareness on giving them alternative options. Now, in desert countries, if you see, uh, you give scientific small scientific slaughter facilities in designated areas within the market, so that it's not everywhere. It's only in certain areas where you have proper waste disposal facility. You have also rightly pointed out the havoc created by the wild animals, wild street dogs, when they, get access to these intestines and other things. But so it all depends on, with proper planning, this can be done. So how to say, citizen, conscious citizen, I tell you, Milind, create the voice. And the voice should come. You should always try to form a. It's kind of an advocacy. Again, we need a great advocacy campaign to make people aware that these foods are not safe. Okay? Uh, then we also need investments in proper markets. Proper markets. Uh, I was working on a project where a person, you have to understand that this person who are doing this business, they are very small traders. Okay? So you have to look into their livelihood also and help them to improve their business. So that is something, there can be a design of projects whereby banks and other organizations can give them support to improve their places where they do the slaughtering of particular poultry. Then, but it's all about a kind of a social awareness, social movement is required. Uh, I don't understand when a person so qualified and then he goes to a roadside market and buys stoppers there, there itself and buys it. So till such kind of people are there, this market will thrive because they have to. It's on everything on economics. So, but there are many things that we need to do. I think food safety is one of the area which government is, I think, neglecting. I should not say neglecting, but I do not see any kind of focus planning for this. In my roadmap project, we did highlight this particular aspect. We have to stop the wet market altogether, but it has to be incremental. It cannot be one day, single day a notification. You cannot stop wet market altogether. But some incremental steps has to be taken. Right, you identify certain areas, then you say that this area is free from wet market. Okay, then try to give them alternative options in terms of creating proper designated places for selling meat. You have rightly pointed out those vegetarian people, they have equal right to, they should get that environment. They should not be disturbed by the kind of practices we do in roadside as well as in markets. So, Melin, I'd like to work with you to understand, because I understand that you are passionate about this particular topic. Let's come up with an advocacy plan. I can help you to to how best we can take it forward. We need to create awareness. This is the biggest aspect. But at the same time, we have to be very careful about the livelihood angle out here. The what kind of alternatives we can provide.
Yeah,
And
Thank you, sir. One sec. I really appreciate what you said, and we from Anajori would love to collaborate with this. We have been working on various advocacies, and specifically for animal welfare. And we also, like, both Sanjay and I both lived abroad for many years, have come back, and I really get surprised because previously my eyes was closed. I did not see it. Like, I see the mutton cut in the morning and hanging out there whole day. And in US, they do not even allow us to put a meat, in normal temperature more than 5 minutes, because the normal temperature is the hub of all kind of germs and bacteria. And we
yes, I
hang the mutton or the pig right there. you know uh, so we would love to work together with some health rules,
believe that is something which, recent months during the COVID period, we had a very good development. See, many of the good farmers, they started into delivering home delivery sort of thing, They started home delivery. They do the proper slaughtering, the packaging, and delivering to the. That these type of models are coming up. This type of
yes,
models are
yes,
coming up, and particularly for larger companies, which they have started entering into retail. If this company started entering into retailing, you get products in the shops, frozen products. But again, people has to develop the people have need to develop the interest for frozen products.
yes,
Okay.
yes,
We have the general feeling is that we would like only those meat which is slaughtered in front of us. Okay, thinking that they are safe, but unfortunately they are not safe, as you have rightly pointed out, because of the temperature, because of the environment they are being kept. I think we are surviving because we just boil and because of our eating style we are surviving. Uh,
we boil so much that it doesn't survive.
but the big area, food safety is the biggest area we need to look into because today when you are talking about the COVID situation, also, we need because many things can happen in from these places. You know how the COVID originated in as people are saying that in China market is a wet market again. Okay, so wet markets are hub of disease. So if you have to control diseases, you have to save the mankind. You have to be focus on creating infrastructure that provides you safety. But
Milin,
again, I like
sorry, we have well past 15 minutes than our stipulated time. It has been 75 minutes instead of the 60 minutes. So probably we'll keep our questions for another day. And also the offer with Dr. Miftahul is that we can work on a joint advocacy plan on the food safety part. And as he rightly pointed out, in India, it's much more complex than developed countries. That there are livelihood questions, and that too of small farmers, people with very low income category into this category. So it's not all that simple of coming out with a notification and doing it. Anyway, thank you so much, Dr. Miftahul. It has been such a great session, learning different things from you, learning through your journey, your words of wisdom. And we at Anajori certainly would love to get in touch with you with what the Milin has promised. There have been many more questions, which I'm really sorry, audiences, that I couldn't ask because of paucity of time. But I believe that we'll have more interactive sessions later on. For today, we say goodbye to everybody, and we thank you, Dr. Miftahul, for sparing his time, for sharing his experience, for giving us the words of the wisdom, and we say goodbye and good evening to everybody.
thank you. I really enjoyed the session. I'm sorry for this extra time. I think I spoke.
No problem. It was engaging.
Sorry for that. It's 15, almost 17 minutes. That's so.
Yeah, it was very engaging. It is allowed 15 minutes. That's okay. Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you, Geeti. Thank you, Kashmira, Rajshree, and everybody part at the NIJORI team who is helping us out. Thank you, everybody.
Welcome.